Our next presenter, Isaq Ahmed, CTO of Spenmo, will talk about exploring the future of bill payments with automation and workflow optimization.
So I'm thrilled and excited here to be present in front of you. We'll be exploring the future of bill payments with automation and workflow optimization. My name is Isaq. I'm the co-founder and CTO of Spenmo. Uh, these are exciting times if you're working in accounting and finance teams because now you have a huge array of software to pick and choose to automate your workflow and processes, right? But it also can get a little bit overwhelming, right? You have like multiple softwares for treasury management, accounts receivable, payables, and so on, right? So if you want to start your transformation journey, maybe it's just better that you pick one of them and drive that in your organization. And in that spirit, I will be talking about bill payments and how you could basically bring in new technology to transform your bill payments so that you avoid human errors and so on and so forth. Yeah. So before I go in and talk about the automation and workflow processes, a little bit of introduction about Spenmo and what we do. We established in 2019. We started off as a corporate card company, but very soon we realized companies just didn't want corporate card and credit. They were actually looking for control and visibility in their expenditure. And not just card expenditure, they also wanted to have a visibility over their bill payments and stuff. So we built this whole spend management with the aim to bring in more visibility to you and put you in control. Okay, it's not just pure automation like our CEO mentioned yesterday. There's good automation and bad automation. A good automation will empower you, put you in control, right? So in that spirit, let's talk about your traditional bill pay workflow and see where you could automate and what are the benefits you would get by automating them. Right. So what we are looking here is your traditional bill payment workflow. There are a lot of boxes. In fact, if I were to list down each step in bill payment, this screen wouldn't be enough, right? But I can broadly divide this into three parts. One is bill payment requires you to transfer money from your bank accounts to your vendor. That's the key part of it, right? You are paying someone. But there are certain things that you need to do before that payment happens, and there are things that you do after the payment happens, right? And like things that happen before the payments are vendor management, invoice management. Either you're paying for a new vendor, so you go ahead, you search for the vendors, you get into agreements with them, you negotiate the prices and stuff. If you're paying an existing vendor, then you basically find out who's the best for this deal, right? Secondly, the payment itself. When you're about to make the payment, you look for the best FX rates. Obviously, this is one place where you can actually save cost, right? Forget about automation in terms of saving manpower or time and stuff. FX savings is where you actually save money, right? Then the third part, which happens after the payments, is you need to keep this information with all the metadata into your accounting software. So at the end of the day, when you sit down to analyze where you're making or losing money, this information is super useful. In fact, this is needed for your auditing purposes and stuff, right? So if a process like that takes like, because it's a huge process, right? It takes like weeks and sometimes even a month to pay your vendors, right? What happens is when you have a lengthy duration, it opens up a lot of can of worms, yeah? So you will have like human errors, you will have multiple teams chasing each other, right? And you have things going out of budget because you really don't know when the invoice came in, when you're paying it, which budget it belongs to and stuff, right? The whole workflow is super inefficient and it takes long time, okay? So this screen, if you look at it here, right, Spenmo especially comes in and helps you do few things really, really well. Like the blue ones, the dark blue ones, you see the approvals, payments, sending receipts, accounting transaction, accounting software integration. Those are the things Spenmo does really, really well. Okay, because we've been working on this problem for almost 3 years now. We figured out the workflow that's needed. You can I'll go into details of demo of each of this, but those things we do really well. And the light blue items that you see, those we are building, okay? And we hope to cover this whole process very soon, yeah? Okay. I think there are many parts in a bill pay journey that you can automate, okay? If you're paying your vendors, with or without Spenmo, right? If you're paying your vendors, and if you're having like multiple invoices to pay, there are some low-hanging fruits that you can easily go after, right? For example, OCR. Before I show you about OCR, there's a little story I want to share. One of our customers, when we were talking to, before they started using Spenmo, they were having these multiple invoices to pay, and they were just afraid that the staff might make mistakes. It's pretty common, right? Like you put in your wrong account number, or you put in the amount, then an extra zero, or you put in an account number in place of amount and stuff, right? It's pretty common. So they were shipping all their invoices to a cheaper cost center, say India and Malaysia, and converting, basically doing data extraction manually from invoices to Excel sheets. Now, if you use OCR, you can be fairly confident because the technology will help you extract all this information, and they are pretty accurate now. This technology has matured, and at Spenmo, what we do is we layer the OCR technology from our partners with our own recipe, so you get better results. So what you do is, this is the Spenmo screen. You go into the bills, you drag and drop the PDF, right? It will start analyzing it, and it's very instantaneous, right? And you could see that it has extracted all the information that is needed, like the vendor, bank account details, the amount, and it also tells you, because we do the payments ourselves, we can also give you a very good mid-market rate, right? And then what happens after the OCR is it goes into your approval. At Spenmo, you can ingest your bills from multiple places, and the next step that it goes through is a approval workflow, right? When we talk about approval workflow, I'll show you how you could set it up, right? Now, at Spenmo, you can not only create a bill using OCR, but you can also, say, drag and drop an Excel file. What we have seen is some marketplaces who have like multiple bills to pay, they collect all this information in an Excel sheet, key in the beneficiary name and amount and details and stuff. They drag and drop the whole stuff. In Spenmo, you can basically drag and drop the Excel sheet. Okay, or we can give you a sample template file if you want. All right, so you drag and drop the Excel sheet. All the beneficiaries' names and details come in here, and then you can go ahead and pay them in one shot. So it saves a lot of time. Okay, the other way to do it is through Xero. So what happens is, say your invoice, you already have it in a Xero software. You want to ingest it from Xero. Spenmo connects to Xero directly. So you can ingest from the Xero, and again, go through the, like you can select them in Xero's platform. It comes into your Spenmo, and again, you can send it to your approvals and be done, right? Now, let's talk about approvals, right? In traditional way of doing things, if you want to seek approvals from your boss on any invoices and stuff, everything is done over email. And people get lost in email, right? So if the process takes weeks, right, then there are so many emails that require approval. So they miss, and some of your staff might be on vacations and stuff, right? So getting approval done is really, really painful. What you could do at Spenmo is you can set up your approval workflows, right? Where basically you go to this approval screen, you can add multiple approvals, and you can decide, okay, this is an engineering budget or an ops budget, and you can say beyond anything less than 5,000, I need approval from, I don't need an approval. Anything beyond 5,000, maybe I need one level of approval. Anything above 10,000, maybe I need 2 levels of approval, right? Once this approval workflow is done, anytime your staff claims for the invoice, he drags and drops the invoice, it automatically goes through this approval chain. Okay. Spenmo also does a very good job with accounting integration. This is the part where your payments are done. Now, you want to transfer all of this information into Xero or any accounting software that you use, right? So either you have two options. You go in and key everything, or you can just connect Spenmo to Xero, right? Select your bank account in Xero, and it will start syncing. Spenmo actually does two ways of syncing. It does bank feeds, so every day, all the transactions that happen at Spenmo, they flow into your Xero. Also, when you collect the meta information like receipts and stuff from your staff, and you put in the category codes, that all information also can go in manually. So the left-hand side and the right-hand side of Xero can be put in from Spenmo. Right? You see this? Yeah, like this, yeah? So one, on this side, you have the information that has flown in on a nightly basis. And here, this is the data that has your accounting team has reviewed and pushed in. So it just makes it easy for you to reconcile, and all the information is in here. Yeah? All right. So we've seen most of the finance and accounting teams rely heavily on Excel sheets, right? And it's just very hard to move them away from Excel sheets. In fact, a lot of the reporting also happens on Excel sheets. People have their own templates and stuff. So you can download all the transactions that happen at Spenmo using an Excel sheet and do your stuff. But Spenmo also has its own analytics. So if you're spending through Spenmo, you could take a look at all the spending that has happened, right? You can compare, for example, here on the merchant side, you could see how I have been spending on Figma. The numbers have gone down. Like you can do it by 30 days, 3 months, 12 months. So you can see a chart of how things have moved, right? Either you're overspending or underspending. And especially if you're cutting costs now, having a know-how of which subscriptions are costing how much is super important. All right. So the whole crux is, it's just not Spenmo. Now, you go into procure any spend management to help your company have control and automate some of these stuff. I think you should look at these things. You should look at how the bill pay creations take place. Do they support multiple forms, or is it just one form? Do they have good accounting integrations? Do they support approvals with multiple levels? Do they have a good OCR? Because if you have a good OCR, a lot of human errors and the productivity just dies off, right? Now, who benefits from using a software like Spenmo? Pretty much your finance and accounting teams, they are the biggest beneficiaries because they don't have to spend weekends and nights closing their books now. A lot of the information has already been inside Spenmo, so it just becomes faster. So finance team, bookkeepers, and also for staff, right, who want their invoices to be paid faster. Budget owners and managers and employees. Everyone gets paid faster. Yeah. So the future of bill payments is very interesting. There are two parts to it, right? There is one, the payment part, where your beneficiary or the vendors get paid. Now, we had this promise of blockchain, things were supposed to get easier, faster, cheaper, but it hasn't been realized yet. But what has happened is the governments have realized that having faster payment between parties is good for economy. So now, you have the Pay Now and UPI in India, and then there's a Pay Now UPI connection between Singapore and India. So these countries are not only having their faster networks now, but they're also connecting each other. So the actual payment will get faster, right? Cross-border, there's a lot of players now, so the rates have come down. Hopefully, there will be better technology to bring down the cross-border payments, right? But in terms of software, over the last few years, there has been a lot of investment in this region, especially in this kind of software. So there is an improvement, but a lot of the startups are new. So some of the software is not as mature. But with AI, I think the software development needed to automate your workflows is going to get faster, right? And I think in next few years, we will see really products mature And hopefully, finance and accounting teams can easily move from Excel sheets and emails to more modern technology. That's all from me. Thank you very much.